Being able to stick in the game is much more important than having an edge every once in a while. I want to show you two images that you may well have seen before. They're pretty important, and let me get onto it. All this stuff about researching and watching all the YouTube videos about cryptocurrency gems is kind of worthless. I'm going to reveal a secret of investing that you may well have overlooked completely in your entire journey. It's right under your nose and you literally won't get it. So let's get onto it. Let's talk about market cycles. Let's talk about the left translated cycle. Let's talk about what it means for us as Bitcoin and cryptocurrency investors. And as a beginner, what you should realistically be focusing on instead of falling down the rabbit hole of YouTube. Trust me, this one might change a lot of things. So, mastering the market cycle. This is where it's going to get interesting. We're going to talk about psychological stuff. Now, the first thing I need to point out here though, psychology moves the markets, not the news. And this is something that I think is overlooked. But we need to talk about the obvious here, right? Market cycles in terms of why they're so important. But in crypto, especially in crypto, wow, it follows it to a T. But I might create a little bit of doubt in a second, so just bear with me, right? Now, you've seen this, just showed you it before. The Wall Street cheat sheet, where you get the hope, the optimism, the belief, the thrill, the euphoria into an absolute rubbish bear market and everyone hates each other and want to kill each other, right? You got the boom stage, you got the bubble stage, and then you got the crash stage, and then you got the bear market stage. That's kind of the typical four that we talk about often, very, very often. And they're fine to talk about, absolutely fine to talk about. But we need to look at the obvious here. Why is it so important? Well, the markets do this all the time in cryptocurrency. There's four little stages, but this one goes a little bit deeper. It's got recovery stage, bull market stage, overvaluation stage, and correction stage. Not too worried about that. What I'm more worried about is this article. This one is a very, very good article, right? Why is this important? Well, this is interesting. This is on a very well-renowned investment platform. It's a very, very good bit of information. We have got the four phases. We've got accumulation, continuation, the parabolic, and then the correction. This is the other chart you've just seen. It follows it to a T, right? That's fine. When we're talking about investing, there's a couple of tips that you probably know very, very well. They're very simple, right? We all know it. I talk about it a lot. Probably getting bored of me talking about it. You need to buy as far away from all-time high as possible. You need to remain in a position, and when it goes high again, you take profit, right? It's kind of obvious, right? But when we talk about this, we've also got other historical patterns. Oh, we're getting to the alpha. The alpha is simple: holding, reduction of coins on exchanges. How many things are getting bought up right now in terms of Bitcoin? What's happening soon? We'll get to that in a second. Something is very much happening. When we talk about new interest, this, I've covered it in a recent video not too long ago, the interest is starting to slowly, just a little bit, don't get too excited, trickling up. Probably means we are probably too early right now, which is good. And then you got the macro and the correlation between that, how things are moving in sync, realistically. It's fine, it's good. But I'm going to do something a little bit naughty in a second. Why? I'm just going to create a little bit of doubt here and talk to you. Why? Why is this important? Well, Bob Lucas has done a video recently about the 4-year cycle, and he does videos every quarter pretty much, talking about a left translated cycle. Now, I've got to plug my Patreon here. I mentioned this on Patreon a while ago, thinking we may well blow off quicker than we think. Didn't call it a left translated cycle because I don't tend to go for the terminology. But I'm going to get to this in a second. But just want to tell you that my Patreon is closing very, very soon. Yeah, it's going to be closed for a while, so make sure you get in. There's going to be a new tier, new stuff happening in the future. But yeah, we're closing it. Why not? Anyways, let's talk about something very, very important though. So as we know it, the 4-year cycle could well be coming to a slight end. But the only reason why I talk about this, and I think this is important to note and to tell everyone, is the fact, in my opinion, that the ETFs have changed the narrative a little bit. This tweet here by Tony the Bull, the 4-year cycle are on track. It's a 12-year conclusion that it's changing its market behavior. This happens when herd recognizes a cycle. It gets front run by smart money who also recognize the cycle. This cycle peak ends up being a left translation or translated as a result, right? Now, What is this, Ash, in simple terms? Basically means that money is going to come into the market and already is coming into the market, but it may well change your behavior. This is another tweet. The odds rising on a fourth 4-year cycle being left translated below October 2024. I think so. This is from the 3rd of December 2023. He's recently just done a video. This one here. Watch it. Link below, by the way, if you're interested. Yeah. I also think it's going to happen. But the reason why I think it's going to happen is because the inflows are really good. Very, very strong. Very, very nice. Why is it important though? Well, what's going to happen is a left translated cycle may mean that we may well go very high, very fast, therefore leading to a different beast altogether. We talk about dominance, we talk about Bitcoin price, talk about scarcity, halving, which we're going to come on to in a second. But what we're looking at here is behavior change, but for the better, short term. Because if things do start to rise very, very quickly, things are going to get more interest. Now, what happens in crypto with interest? Parabolic moves, right? It's crazy. The herd mentality, it comes in. And then dominance will go to a certain point, pretty much higher than what we are now. And then it will drop like a stone. And when we talk about, I wish I knew this sort of stuff before I came into the market, this is the bread and butter that you need to know before you focus on researching coins, before you focus on stuff. You need to understand what phase to buy, what phase to start selling, what phase to wait in, right? I'm hoping this sort of vibe will give you that kind of answer. And I know a lot of people, especially my Patreon on Learning Crypto, will know when to buy, when to sell, when to do whatever, because that's kind of how the market moves. We're coming up to something very, very important right now. What we're coming up to, boys and girls, halving. It's coming up very, very soon, right? What's this going to do? It's going to allow more scarcity. That would basically halve the amount of Bitcoins going into circulation every single day. Right now, it's currently 900. Right, cool, fine. That's getting bought up pretty aggressively by guess who? MicroStrategy as one individual person. We've also got the inflows here of the ETFs as well as people trying to buy spot, right? We're getting to a point where it's going to get very, very interesting. And this is why we go back to this sort of left translated cycle, because it might just zip up and then do whatever it wants to do from that point. Don't know what's going to happen in the future, obviously, on a left translated cycle. But if that is going to be a blow off top, we might well be looking at certain points where it ends a bit faster. It isn't a bad thing. It just means that we can't recognize the behavior in the future as easy as we want to. But as I say, buy as far away from all-time high as possible. You know, sell when you're in profit, take profit. You know, I could do a lot of videos on that. But the final bit I want to talk about is the little secret that I mentioned. And I said it right at the start of this video. If you go back and you listen to the starting point, I talk about a thing and a concept called time. We've all got a watch, we've all invested, and when you invest for a long time, you tend to make money. When you go back through crypto and look at the cycles and you look at stuff like this, and if I blow this up, this is where you start getting little tears rolling down your face, because realistically, if you are all here now and you are all investing with a simple mindset of making more wealth, buying low, selling a bit higher than what you bought at, and accumulating units, accumulating coins that you really like, and genuinely making money, over time you probably do all right. Dollar cost averaging in, fine. Most people who bought Bitcoin are actually very profitable right now. Quite a big percent. That's good, right? So when we talk about time, you've got to look at how early you've got to be. This is the power of starting early. We are early to the game of cryptocurrency being a utilized object for currency. I've been in the space since 2016. I think I was very, very, very early. I still think, though, over time, if you think about scarcity in the units of Bitcoin and other altcoins coming to the fore, you may well find that maybe we are still early. We're not above all-time high yet. The inflows are still, in my opinion, low. It's only 3.71%. That might be 10, 12, 15% in a couple of years, very, very quickly. And then you've got to look at the halving situation, the scarcity there, other institutions, other ETFs, people buying more because of confidence. What could happen if we're looking at BTC and a big, big, juicy green candle has came and everyone wants it? well, may well be that parabolic stage. That may well be that melt up. That might well send it high. That might well send the BTC dominance, if I can find it. Where is it? There it is. Going much higher short term and then melt to the floor, creating massive Satoshi value in your altcoins, meaning they're going to run too. I know this is a very hopey and bullish video, and I hope you do enjoy it. And if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. But wow, I think people underestimate time. I think people underestimate market cycles. I think people underestimate the power of institutions, the power of scarcity. It's huge. So if you like this video, please do leave a like, subscribe, and watch whatever videos coming up. This one actually probably will help you out a lot. It gives you a lot more context anyways.